Tonight on CTV News, relaxing affordable housing requirements.
I can appreciate where folks feel that the public hearing process has been kind of overruled here.
City Hall is poised to give developers a break. How a major project in Point Grey could change and the pushback from the community.
I was kind of taken aback. I didn't expect this.
Hundreds of salmon die before they're able to spawn. What's killing off fish in a Fraser Valley creek?
I see a seed source in the water. It's dark as well, near the flare. He just waved his hand up. He is alive.
Harrowing ordeal. A sailor goes overboard off Vancouver Island. The massive rescue mission. How long the man was in frigid waters waiting for help.
This is CTV News with me, Jung Lee.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with a struggling real estate industry. Now, a major development in Vancouver could be a lot less affordable if City Hall adopts a slew of incentives. As CTV's Martin McMahon reports, some call it a massive taxpayer-funded bailout and a broken promise to the community.
Developer Bentall Green Oak got the green light in March to redevelop the former Safeway site on West 10th near Sasamat. Part of the deal, 114 below-market rental units as part of a larger 571-unit project, which would also include a grocery store. But now, with many developments on hold or cancelled, Vancouver's chief planner is recommending incentives to help the project go ahead. If approved, it would mean the previously agreed non-market rental units would no longer qualify for a 20% discount below the National Housing Agency's citywide average rents. It's prompting some on City Council to ask whether the incentives are necessary or go too far, especially given the terms were discussed at a public hearing.
Public hearings are where we're supposed to analyze and discuss and weigh those sort of like benefits, costs, considerations, what does it all look like? So we made a decision based on a previous set of parameters, which are now being retroactively changed. So I can appreciate where folks feel that the public hearing process has been kind of overruled here.
But in an interview with CTV News last week, Vancouver's chief planner insisted these changes are needed.
Unless costs also commensurately come down, it makes it very difficult to get shovels in the ground and keep our housing momentum. We want to keep that pipeline of supply to the market, especially things like rental homes, so that more people can afford to live in the city of Vancouver.
Fry understands the challenges of the moment, but has concerns about the precedent.
If this is forever, we're taking a big step backwards on delivering, I think, more sort of robust deliverables for the people of Vancouver when it comes to especially these large projects.
The report goes to council Wednesday. The group Friends of Point Grey Village wants councillors to ask staff to report back with more details on what they describe as a, quote, bailout for developers. The group estimates the developer will save $38 million over the lifetime of the project. Martin McMahon, CTV News, Vancouver.
A new report shows rents in BC are sliding, delivering relief in some of the province's major cities. Rentals.ca says condos and purpose-built rentals dropped 8.5% over the past 2 years. In Vancouver, rents fell more than 15% compared to last year. New Westminster saw an even bigger drop, over 16%. November marks the 24th straight month of declines. The province's housing minister says rising vacancy rates and a surge in purpose-built rentals are signs that efforts to boost supply are paying off. A controversial proposal to allow social housing towers up to 20 stories in many neighborhoods has been shot down by Vancouver City Council. They have sent the social housing initiative back to staff. ABC Councillor Sarah Kirby-Young tabled a successful amendment to fast-track social housing projects. Her amendment also allows funds from the empty homes tax and the housing accelerator to be reallocated. Opposition councillors voted against it, saying the original report was sufficient.
By approving this unamended, we would have been placing social housing projects straight into the development permit process, which only takes 16 weeks. It would save time and money that could be the difference between a project going ahead or being cancelled.
I'm not convinced broadly of the fact that it is logical and common sense to rezone several thousand parcels in the city of Vancouver to achieve getting 10 projects through annually more quickly.
The staff report is expected to come back to council by March. New numbers suggest Metro Vancouver's housing market could stay soft well into next year. A Royal LePage forecast shows prices here are expected to dip again in 2026. CTV's Reagan Hasegawa explains what this could mean if you're buying or selling.
Royal LePage expects the average price for a Greater Vancouver home will drop 3.5% by the end of next year, and there will be an even steeper decline for detached homes. The forecast points to a quiet market. Sales remain well below the region's 10-year average, and listings are lingering as many buyers wait for better conditions. By late next year, the typical home in Greater Vancouver is expected to sit around $1.15 million, down 3.5% from this year. Detached homes could fall about 5%, condos about 3%. Royal LePage says some buyers are hesitating over economic uncertainty or trying to time the market. Nationally, home prices are expected to tick up about 1%. For buyers, it means less pressure to move quickly. And for anyone hoping to upsize their home, you may have to be patient. And that's because the reports to more homes on the market being subject to sale. Reagan Hasegawa, CTV News, Vancouver.
Now to the political theater in Ottawa over new pipelines. A Conservative Party motion today aimed to pin down the Liberals on whether they support building a pipeline to the BC coast. CTV's Rob Buffum has more on how the vote played out and the renewed fight by First Nations against the pipeline.
Last week, he flipped.
Pipeline politics dominated the national stage, the Conservatives tabling a non-binding motion that traced much of the Liberal government's MOU with Alberta for a pipeline to BC's coast.
I took the very wording right out of that deal and put it into a motion before the House of Commons.
The motion, even with an amendment, didn't include all of the MOU, however. Notably absent, strengthened industrial carbon pricing. Cherry picking, said the Prime Minister.
I don't think there's a limit on the size of motions. And in fact, since the MOU is already translated, I think it would be very easy to take the entire MOU in both official languages.
The back and forth classic political saber-rattling, says former BC Premier Christy Clark.
These kinds of stunts come up in Parliament when the opposition smells in division within the government ranks.
With some Liberal MPs openly opposed to a pipeline, the motion and its amendment, which both failed, were intended to draw out those fractures in the government.
Ironically, this Conservative motion actually reveals some fissures on the Conservative side as well, because they didn't adopt all of the language from the MOU that was signed between Alberta and the federal government.
One group seemingly unified, Coastal First Nations, who traveled to Ottawa to voice their ongoing opposition to lifting the oil tanker ban. Something needed if a pipeline goes to the North Coast, and an item in both the MOU and Tuesday's motion.
The North Coast and Haida Gwaii is not just the source of our current economic livelihoods, but it's our home, it's our responsibility to look after.
Clark says based on her experience with LNG, carving out exemptions to that ban could still happen.
Your first position if on something is often, no, forget it, we're not doing it. But all of us know that many of us change our positions on things over time as discussion happens.
Meanwhile, BC's Energy Minister calls the idea of a new pipeline fantasy.
Not surprised that the House of Commons has taken a full day to debate a project that still doesn't exist. We in BC have lots of projects that do exist.
The Alberta government has until July 1st to apply to the Fed's Major Projects Office for approval for a new bitumen pipeline. Expect many more political fireworks before Canada Day. Robert Buffum, CTV News, Victoria.
Just ahead, protection from online predators, violent criminals, and perpetrators of intimate partner violence. The feds introduced legislation to strengthen the criminal code. But first, let's check in with Anne Liu, who is at the Vancouver Aquarium. A great place to be if rain is in the forecast.
Yes, definitely stay dry. Come to the Vancouver Aquarium because Holiday Splash is on now until January 4th. And it's a very merry Fishmas here at the aquarium. And it wouldn't be the holidays without Scuba Claus. Yes, he is here every day right through until December 24th. So come on down, say hi, send him your fish list and let him know what you want for Christmas because it is looking a lot like Fishmas here at the aquarium. And a great way, as you mentioned, Mijang, to stay dry, especially with the atmospheric river making its round once again as we head through tonight into tomorrow. We do have rainfall warnings in effect for West Vancouver Island, 80 to 110 millimeters of rain. For Metro Vancouver, we'll see anywhere between 50 to 80 millimeters of rain, 70 to 100 millimeters expected for the Fraser Valley, stretching to Hope. Hope Princeton is included in that as well. And that is a severe orange warning, which means it could last a couple of days and the impacts are very high. So look out for localized flooding and do take care when you are on the roads.
CTV Weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises. Make the most of your next vacation by booking with those who've been there. Visit expediacruises.ca.
And Mijang, it is the most wonderful time of year, of course, especially here at Holiday Splash with Scuba Claus. So I think I'm going to stay here. You think I should jump in there with him? I don't know. It seems a little cold.
You know, the fish seem really blasé about Santa being there. Maybe Scuba Claus has brought treats to them as well.
Oh, definitely. Lots of treats hanging around there.
All right. Thanks, Ann. The FBI and Mexican officials have released 2 new photos of former Canadian Olympian, now fugitive, Ryan Wedding. The former Coquitlam resident and Olympic snowboarder is accused of running a $1 billion international drug trafficking ring. The new photos are believed to have been taken in Mexico last summer, where police believe Wedding is still hiding out under the protection of the Sinaloa cartel. One of the photos was taken against a neutral gray background similar to a passport or driver's license photo. Earlier this year, officials increased the reward for information, leading to Wedding's arrest to $15 million. A new bill tabled in Ottawa takes aim at perpetrators of intimate partner violence. And the province says it's also taking steps to address the issue. But as CTV's Ben Milger reports, advocates for survivors and the family of a slain BC woman say the devil will be in the details.
Surrounded by survivors and advocates, Federal Justice Minister Sean Fraser announced new measures for ending gender-based violence. According to the Department of Justice, 187 women were killed violently in Canada last year.
A woman being killed in this country every other day. This is a statistic that should shock the conscience of every Canadian.
Bill C-16 would deem murders motivated by hate or femicide first-degree offenses. It criminalizes coercive or controlling behavior. The wide-ranging 158-page bill also makes it a crime to distribute deep-fake sexual images without someone's consent. If passed, Bill C-16 would also restore mandatory minimum sentences for about a dozen different offenses.
I think it sent a message that violence against women, in particular femicide, which is a word that's now being included in the criminal code, is an important advancement.
BC Attorney General Nikki Sharma says the province has begun implementing 13 of 21 recommendations contained in an independent report on gender-based violence and femicide. But she could not say when all or any of them would be fully implemented.
So I don't have an outward timeline, but what I am committing to is to give regular updates, including an annual report about our progress related to each of those items.
The family of Bailey McCourt, killed in Kelowna in July in an alleged case of intimate partner violence, has been lobbying for changes to the criminal code.
I think she would be proud of how much we've been able to push and will continue to push to help keep her daughters, to help keep her sisters safe from the same thing happening to them.
McCourt's former partner, James Plover, faces a first-degree murder charge in connection to her death. Ben Milger, CTV News, Vancouver.
For 25 years, the BC SPCA has supported pet owners in need through Charlie's Pet Food Bank. Today, that milestone was marked with a festive celebration in Vancouver's downtown east side.
Our goal is to help people and animals thrive together, and so this is one of the ways that we really like to hang out in the community and ensure that people and pets, they get the care they need and some special treats around the holiday season.
On top of free treats for people and animals alike, Santa stopped by for some photos with pets. Charlie's Food Bank is named after a dog who came to the SPCA in critical condition because his owner couldn't afford care. That loss inspired a province-wide service that's now provided more than 100,000 meals, helping keep pets with the people who love them. Vancouver Island residents were shocked to see a bus-sized piece of industrial garbage wash up on their beach. Why it's taking so long to remove it. And
we notice all the pre-spawn mortality, so many of the females that die before they spawn.
a troubling sight in a Fraser Valley Creek. What's killing hundreds of salmon? When CTV News at 6 continues, stay with us. 16,000 fossil footprints in Bolivia are providing some insight into dinosaur behavior. A team of researchers discovered that the footprints belong to a dinosaur group that includes the Tyrannosaurus rex. Paleontologists say this find represents the highest number of theropod footprints recorded anywhere in the world, and they call it a remarkable window into the lives of dinosaurs around 66 million years ago. Could pollution be killing hundreds of spawning salmon in an Abbotsford stream? Volunteers with an environmental group are raising the alarm over what they've seen, and they're now searching for answers. CTV's Michelle Bernaro explains.
All through Stony Creek, salmon are spawning. In fact, volunteers say the Coho salmon run is about 3 times what it usually is here. But there's a problem.
I was kind of taken aback. I didn't expect this.
What she didn't expect was uncovered as volunteers were counting dead salmon and cutting them open to determine if they were male or female.
Completely full of eggs. First of all, we notice all the pre-spawn mortality, so many of the females that die before they spawn.
In the past few weeks, they say they found 379 dead female salmon. Of those, almost 60% had not yet spawned. And that, they say, is a big concern. Doug Gosling says in his 15 years of counting the salmon, he's never seen anything like it. And that's not the only issue that volunteers are worried about.
Just started seeing really elevated numbers of leeches on the fish. They were covering the gill plates and the mouths, and then some of them were actually inside the fish.
Gosling thinks the creek may have become polluted by a chemical compound that he says can come off rubber tires.
Gets onto the road and then it's flushed into creeks, and it's supposed to be very bad for coho.
Environment and Climate Change Canada says they've been notified of the fish mortality event at Stony Creek, and they will continue to verify compliance with the pollution prevention provisions of the Fisheries Act. It's not the first time fish in this creek have been impacted by pollution. Last year, it's estimated thousands of fish died after firefighting foam was accidentally released. But Gosling doesn't believe that has anything to do with what they're seeing now. Volunteers want the creek water tested as they search for answers. Michelle Bernaro, CTV News, Abbotsford.
On Vancouver Island, a massive slab of concrete packed with styrofoam has been sitting on Qualicum Beach for more than a year. Now, locals are fighting to get rid of it before it causes serious problems. It's been dubbed the Block of Doom. The 25-foot slab weighs up to 10 tons and likely broke loose from a dock during a storm. Keeping it afloat is styrofoam inside. But a local environmental group worries that the styrofoam will begin to break down into tiny microscopic particles that will impact the environment.
We have a salmon stream just a stone's throw away right behind us.
We'd rather have it safely removed than have it break apart or drift back out and become a navigation hazard.
The Qualicum Beach Streamkeepers have launched a fundraising campaign to raise $10,000 for removal and disposal. They've consulted volunteers in Campbell River who recently hauled massive tires off the shoreline. The goal is to cut the block into pieces and truck it away by mid-February. Vancouver charity Mission Possible is marking a major milestone today after collecting its millionth piece of single-use litter from city streets.
Our team has been working all year incredibly hard and just cleaning up bottles, bags, cups, everything around the city. And the millionth piece of litter isn't actually just about that. It's a bigger story. Everyone who's working in these jobs are people who are working towards stability, toward moving back into the workforce.
Mission Possible supports people overcoming barriers to employment through transitional work, training, and coaching. The charity says this millionth piece of litter being picked up represents a fresh start for these individuals and a cleaner city for everyone. A windstorm sent a massive Gary oak tree crashing down on a house in Saanich. Also ahead.
But it's a lot of wrong information. It's everything. It's so crazy.
We'll have the latest on the Air Transat labor dispute coming up. A massive Gary oak tree came crashing down on a home in Saanich last night as strong winds swept across Greater Victoria. Luckily, no one was hurt, but with more stormy weather in the forecast, homeowners with trees on their property are being reminded annual inspections could help prevent disaster. And all residents are being urged to prepare emergency kits in case of further power outages. Turning now to the latest in the Air Transat labor dispute, the pilots union says a tentative agreement has been reached. Pilots were scheduled to go on strike overnight, but now a ratification vote on the deal will be held in the coming days. In anticipation of a strike, the airline has been canceling flights affecting thousands of travelers. The Airline Pilots Association says the agreement delivers a modern contract for its 750 members, but did not release details. The company says it included significant pay hikes in its latest offer. Turning now to a dramatic rescue off the coast of Vancouver Island. A Royal Canadian Navy sailor was pulled from the stormy sea in a coordinated effort, and the high-stakes mission was all captured on camera. CTV's Brendan Strain reports.
He just waved his hand up. He's alive.
It's words of relief after an exhaustive search of the waters near Betnick Island on southern Vancouver Island.
2 vessels en route and 1 chopper in the hover over top.
A Canadian sailor conducting a training exercise was thrown from the rigid hull inflatable boat he was in during last night's storm and couldn't immediately be located.
Gusting up to 30 knots, it was a harrowing experience for the sailor.
At 2:43 yesterday afternoon, the Joint Rescue Coordination Center got the man overboard call, launching a large-scale search.
We have multiple vessels moving to the position.
Involving a Kingfisher search and rescue plane, 2 Orca-class vessels, a pilot boat, frigate HMCS Regina, as well as 3 helicopters.
I see a heat source in the water. It's dark as well, near the flare.
The Cyclone helicopter, the CH-148, was the one who spotted the member in the water.
That was at 5 p.m., as rescue crews had almost completely lost daylight.
There's a boat and helicopter picking him up as we speak.
The crew of that Cyclone helicopter then directed the pilot boat to the man, who was only wearing a dry suit and a life jacket.
That would have put him at about 2.5 hours in the water at least.
It is an emotional event. We know that one of our sailors is missing at sea.
The man was taken to shore, then transferred to the care of paramedics that were standing by.
The sailor is in stable condition.
The commander of Maritime Forces Pacific says last night's rescue thankfully ended in a successful mission.
You can imagine it was cold, it was worrisome, so I think the sailor is in a little bit of shock. Very harrowing experience.
And couldn't be prouder and more grateful for the effort that was put forth by everyone last night.
This is not just the Navy or the Air Force or the Coast Guard. This was a maritime community response. Every sailor at sea knows how harrowing life can be, how challenging life can be, and so I really appreciate that combined response of everybody last night who saved the life of a Royal Canadian Navy sailor.
6587 standing down, and nice job all around.
Brendan Strain, CTV News, Esquimalt.
Canada's ambassador to Washington is preparing to leave office in the new year ahead of crucial talks with Mexico and the U.S. Kirsten Hillman first took over as acting ambassador in 2019 and was named to the role permanently 1 year later. Her departure comes as the Canada-U.S.-Mexico agreement is set for a formal review in 2026. In a one-on-one interview with CTV News, Hillman says that's why now is the time to begin her transition.
I think it's important that we have someone in place that
is going to be here through the conclusion of those discussions. So there's never a good time to leave a position like this, but I think that this is a natural point of departure for me.
She says the decision was hers and something she began planning months ago with the Prime Minister's support. Hillman adds that serving and representing Canada has been the greatest privilege of her professional life, and she's looking forward to coming home. Her successor hasn't been named yet. Some four-legged friends are helping bring a sense of calm for those feeling anxious at the Ottawa Courthouse.
I've seen her stay an hour with someone crying. Just doesn't move, doesn't talk, no judgment.
A group of about a dozen therapy dogs come to the courthouse to provide support to anyone who needs it. They visit with courthouse staff and attend specialty courts like mental health or drug treatment court. Some dogs are even present in the courtroom for witnesses or those providing testimonials.
He wants to visit. He's not visiting because he's making his mom or his handler happy. He's visiting because he wants to. And he has the uncanny ability to find somebody in this building that may be a little bit down, a little bit sad, anxious.
The program started as a pilot project about 10 years ago, but has since grown and is completely run by volunteers. Fundraising efforts only cover the cost of parking at the courthouse. One of the strangest things to be posted for sale online, meet the Alberta man who's selling his time machine. Also coming up.
This was the centerpiece of the repatriation effort.
An Inuit kayak has been repatriated to Canada after being held by the Vatican as a reconciliation effort between Indigenous peoples and the Catholic Church continues. A full circle moment for Indigenous and specifically Inuit groups today. A total of 62 items and artifacts have been repatriated from the Vatican, including a kayak that's at least 100 years old. CTV's Dylan Dyson reports.
Wayne and Daryl, do you want to do the honors?
A repatriation decades in the making.
You're looking at something that is a part of our history, but also Inuvialuit and Inuit across Inuit Nunagat still harvest in very similar ways.
This kayak, believed to be between 100 and 125 years old and taken by explorers from Canada's north, was being held by the Vatican.
I know Minister Melanie Joly and Prime Minister Trudeau both intervened directly with Pope Francis and with the highest levels of the Catholic Church, specifically on this item. That somehow morphed into a larger conversation that led to 61 other items being identified by the Catholic Church to be repatriated.
An essential piece of Inuit culture and life taken from a community without permission.
One of the explorers came to the region seeing the item, and this may be one of the ways that it was collected.
The items that were taken from us or taken from our grave sites or taken forcibly, those are of concern and consideration to us.
You can see beluga oil stains around the cockpit here.
The return of these items to Canadian soil, a crucial part of reconciliation with Canada's Indigenous peoples. And there's more symbolism with this repatriation. Canada's Minister of Sport, a former Olympic paddler who won gold in the kayak, recognizes his own achievement has been made possible by the innovation of the Inuit.
The repatriation is, it's part of the calls to action. It's part of the agreement that was made with respect to the apology that the Pope undertook, and it's a great day.
But the 62 repatriated artifacts will not be put on display, but rather returned in time to the communities they were taken from.
This is going to be a process that will take months, maybe perhaps years, to fully understand and attribute each of the items where it belongs.
We're ready to be the custodians of the items for as long as needed.
A penguin at the Calgary Zoo was waddling a bit funny, prompting staff to take a closer look. An X-ray found Juanita had swallowed a coin on Monday, which the zoo's health team removed surgically. They believe the 13-year-old penguin swallowed the dime after finding it in the penguin plunge. Metal can be deadly to the birds, but luckily Juanita is recovering well. And coin constipation, I'm sure it was very painful for little Juanita.
Poor Juanita, but I'm glad she's all fixed and back to normal already. All right, we're here at Vancouver Aquarium for Holiday Splash. It is the season. It's very festive here and a great time of year to come and celebrate the holiday season. But first, let's take a look at our forecast because another rainfall warning in effect. First, our satellite radar imagery shows another low pushing its way in. We have a parade of storms moving its way in with this atmospheric river bringing us a lot of heavy rain. First yesterday, today we had a break. The next system moving in tonight into tomorrow. Here a look at warnings for west coast of Vancouver Island, 80 to 110 millimeters of rain. Metro Vancouver and the Fraser Canyon, 50 to 80 millimeters of rain for the Fraser Valley, including Hope to the Hope Princeton, 70 to 100 millimeters of rain. So severe warnings in orange for the Fraser Valley. So impacts will be major and you will see localized flooding and the impacts could last a few days. So do take care if you are headed on the roads because rain will limit visibility. Our rain tracker is showing anywhere between 39 millimeters for Vancouver, 42 for North Vancouver, 62 for Pitt Meadows. Look at Abbotsford, 93 millimeters of rain and 129 by the time everything is said and done tomorrow night. For the North Island, you're looking at cloudy skies and showers, 9 degrees for Port Hardy, Campbell River and Comox. For the South Island, it is going to be a soggy one from Tofino right down to Victoria. Tofino, you can see upwards of 40 millimeters of rain, upwards of 25 from Port Alberni to Victoria. Warm temperatures between 10 and 12. Soggy for the Sunshine Coast and 10 degrees up the Sea to Sky Highway. Heavy rain at times for Squamish at 8, Whistler at 5, and for us across the Lower Mainland, warm as well and wet. Temperatures between 10 and 12 degrees. It dries up for Thursday. Enjoy that break. Light rain returns on Friday. Cloudy skies with showers on Saturday. And then on Sunday, we start off wet, easing off before the next round of wet weather moves its way in for Monday and Tuesday. Steady rain with temperatures between 9 and 11 degrees. CTV weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises for air, land, and sea vacations. Well, as mentioned, we're here at Vancouver Aquarium. 'Tis the season. It is the best place to be during the holidays. And joining me now is Todd Homptman from the Vancouver Aquarium. So excited to be here. So Holiday Splash, we just had Scuba Claws on. So what can people expect for this year?
Well, besides Scuba Claws, which is of course my favorite part of the holiday season, we also have the Jelly Snow Globe in our tropic zone. Great for family selfies. We also have the Penguin 4D film in our 4D theater, and of course our seasonal treats and all the fun that to get out of the rain. Yes. You know, you were just talking about all this rain we're going to get. Come to the Vancouver Aquarium, enjoy warmth and dry, enjoy Scuba Claws and all the wonderful things we have here at the Vancouver Aquarium during the holiday season.
Amazing. So how long does Holiday Splash run through?
Till January 4th.
Okay.
But of course, Scuba Claws goes back to the North Pole on December 24th.
Okay, so get your fishy wishes into Scuba Claws. Thank you so much, Todd. Yeah, this is a great place to be for the holidays, Mijung. If not, just to get away from the rain.
Yeah, it looks so festive. It's beautiful and it's nice and dry. And we'll be watching for the heavy rain overnight and possible flooding as well. Thanks, Ann. It can be tricky and time-consuming trying to organize a holiday party for a larger group. Now a website makes it easier to book. Also ahead.
It takes 6 to 10 years to grow a tree, so those effects are long-lasting when we have bad years.
How climate change is changing the Christmas tree industry and what trees will be available. That's ahead. Taking a look at today's markets, the Canadian dollar traded for 72 cents to the American dollar. Oil was down 63 cents, finishing the day at $58.25 a barrel. Gold gained $18.50 on the day. The TSX also up 74 points, while the Dow lost 179 points on the day. If you've ever planned an event at a restaurant for a large group, like a holiday party, it can be a hassle for you and the restaurants. But a group that deals in restaurant technology says it's created a marketplace for private and group dining that's easy to use. Here's CTV's Pat Foran.
Minami, Toronto is a popular Japanese restaurant in the entertainment district. It's known for many of its signature dishes and specializes in flame-seared sushi. It's a choice for smaller groups, but over the years it's come to host many larger events.
One thing that we've always noticed is it's really challenging for people to book events that are larger than simple reservations.
General Manager Nicholas Tian says in the past it could be challenging for anyone trying to plan a large gathering at a restaurant, but he says using the online reservation service OpenTable, it makes it easier for party planners and restaurants to make it happen.
We've done more weddings and corporate bookings and large-scale bookings than ever before since bringing on this platform.
It's really about making it easier for diners to discover and book those large party opportunities or spaces.
OpenTable is available across Canada and allows diners to compare private dining rooms, semi-private spaces, and large group tables. You can check pricing, menus, and some businesses allow instant booking. OpenTable says it's win-win for both diners and restaurants.
In the old days, you used to have to pick up the phone and search, ask and call multiple different restaurants before you'd find availability. Now it's as easy as a couple of clicks and you've found the spot that you'd like to go to.
The company says its research shows almost 70% of those asked would rather host a party at a restaurant than in their home, suggesting private dining is gaining momentum.
Last night we had 30 people in the lounge. The night before we had 25 in the lounge.
OpenTable says 60,000 restaurants worldwide take part in its platform, and they help fill almost 2 billion seats each year. Pat Foran, CTV News.
A well-decorated Christmas tree certainly adds extra cheer to the holiday season, but as we prepare for the holidays, experts are sharing that climate change is reshaping the Christmas tree industry in unexpected ways.
If we think back to 2021, we had the heat dome and a severe drought, and we've had several years of drought since then, and that certainly has impacted Christmas trees and other trees in the province. It takes 6 to 10 years to grow a tree, so those effects are long-lasting.
Sally Aitken says those recent weather events have made it harder to establish young trees, which would have been coming to market now. She says warming winters could spell trouble for more sensitive trees like true firs. She suggests if trends continue, consumers could see more heat-tolerant species of trees for sale. Still to come tonight, a Facebook find. An Alberta man put his homemade time machine on the market. Plus, charitable child Adam finds out how an 8-year-old who didn't get what she wanted for Christmas helped other kids get more than they expected. Coming up on the Sawatsky sign-off. Right now, here's Carrie Adams with a preview of Your Morning Vancouver.
What is the future of the BC Conservatives? Wednesday on Your Morning Vancouver, where the party goes from here after John Rustad stepped down due to pressure. Also, do you have critical illness insurance? Why more people are opting to get it and what you need to know. Plus, how courier delivery services are ramping up for the holiday season. We'll see you in the morning.
Alphonso Davies returned to the pitch today, 9 months after suffering a devastating knee injury. The former Vancouver Whitecap came on as a sub in the 87th minute for Bayern Munich in their 3-1 Champions League victory. It's a great sign for Team Canada, who will be happy to have its top star ready for the World Cup. The Vancouver Whitecaps may have lost the MLS Cup final, but fans still have something to celebrate. Thomas Müller is officially returning to the team next season. The German-born star came over to the Caps in August after 17 seasons with Bayern Munich, where he scored 250 goals and helped the team to 13 league championships. In his first MLS campaign, the 36-year-old had 8 goals and 3 assists over 7 regular season games and 5 playoff matches. Vancouver has also exercised the options on midfielders Ali Ahmed and Sebastian Berhalter. Toronto has retained the infamous honor of being Canada's rattiest city, but we shouldn't be too cocky. Vancouver isn't far behind. Pest control company Orkin Canada has released its annual top 10 list of the rattiest cities in the country. The ranking is based on the number of calls it received to treat issues with rodents, including both rats and mice at homes and businesses. Victoria and Vancouver are second and third on the list, followed by Burnaby, Richmond, and Kelowna. That means BC cities made up half of the list. I'm surprised that Toronto beat us, considering how many rats I see downtown.
I was going to say the exact same thing. I lived in both cities, Toronto and Vancouver, and since I moved back to Vancouver, it's been shocking how many rats I see along my walk to the station. So
yeah,
I think we're
Burrard
gonna...
Street, just so many, and in the daytime too. Like, you know, I thought they were nocturnal,
no.
but pretty gross, and they're pretty much everywhere.
Yes.
Okay, well, you never know what kind of items you may find for sale on Facebook Marketplace, but one man near Edmonton may have the most out-of-this-world item up for sale: a time machine.
When you travel into time, you never know what you're going to land on.
Retired carpenter Pat Gooley is selling his time machine for just $850. It's about 8 feet tall and 7 feet wide, with enough room to comfortably sit 2 people who can even recline their seats back. Gooley says he's had more than 17,000 hits on his ad and a couple of offers he's considering.
And I've had a lot of people asking me, does it actually work? My wife thinks that these people are joking, but I have a feeling 2 or 3 of them maybe are not joking.
He says he hopes it will end up going to a good home with someone more tech-savvy that can take the time machine to new levels.
Interesting.
He made it for his grandchildren, so best grandfather in the world.
Absolutely.
Building a time machine.
Back to the future. I like it.
Yeah, it looks like that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, Craig, what's coming up tonight on the late news?
Well, Anne, as we've heard from Anne all evening, we have a lot of rain heading our way. Environment Canada has issued a rainfall warning for much of the Lower Mainland, and because of this, additional shelter spaces are opening up around the city today, and the province is also worried about flooding. We'll have more on that. Also tonight, our Isabella Zavarisi is at City Hall as development plans to the downtown east side come before the public hearing. We're expecting a lengthy list of speakers who are opposed to the plan as the city tries to find a path forward. We'll have this and more tonight at 11:30. Hey, John?
All right, thanks a lot, Craig. Finally, Adam finds out how one young girl on Vancouver Island learned the joy of giving by spending her own chore money to make Christmas morning a little brighter for other kids in need. On tonight's Sawatsky sign-off.
It's over 2 feet tall. Yeah.
From the moment Prairie Rose Steinman first saw that dollhouse from her favorite TV show,
I want that really badly.
she'd been asking her mom, Kirsten, to buy it for her.
Every birthday and every Christmas, it landed on the list. It was right up there at the top.
But every year, it was just a bit too much for their budget.
You didn't get it?
No.
How does that feel?
She felt sad.
So Prairie tried to be really grateful for what she did have instead.
We know we want something, but we have to focus on the stuff that we already have and need.
But then, that day she and Kirsten were focused on shopping for their other family members, Prairie spotted a Christmas hamper filled with donated toys.
I was like, oh, well, I want to do something like that too.
So Prairie asked her mom if she could spend the money she'd saved from doing her chores to buy not just something special for someone else, but the dollhouse she'd always wanted.
If I gave something that I really wanted, someone would just feel loved. Just like giving a very warm hug to them.
That was super emotional for me. I was just really humbled, actually.
She was so inspired by her daughter's generosity that Kirsten returned a coat she'd bought for herself so she could buy 4 more dollhouses to donate to kids in need.
That's what Christmas is actually about anyway. So yeah, let's go and do it.
So they did. And although that meant Prairie wouldn't get a dollhouse of her own on Christmas, she did finally get one for her birthday.
That was very exciting, yeah.
But it can't compare to preparing to donate another gift this year.
And just sharing the hope and the peace that Christmas is really about.
Because the feeling Prairie says she remembers most in her heart was not the getting, but the giving.
Feels like my heart's having a dance party.
A dance party?
Yeah. And like
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Saanich.
Aww.
That's so cute.
So expressive, too. Her heart's having a dance party.
Yeah, I love that.
You know, kids can get really swept away with all those material things, but it's nice to see that she's so
not this
generous. Okay, we're watching the rain and the possible flooding overnight and tomorrow.
Yeah, especially across the lower mainland. It's going to start here in the next few hours, so be aware of that if you are on the roads.
All right, thanks, Craig. And thanks for joining us tonight. Thanks. We'll see you tomorrow.